It's been 4 years since the second Pacific Rim movie was released, and now everybody is asking if there will be another movie to complete the trilogy. The movie has stood out to be one of the most interesting franchises and received a great response from the audience. So, can we expect the Pacific Rim 3 release anytime soon? Here's what we know. Legendary Pictures has released several successful sci-fi monster franchises, such as Godzilla and King Kong, and in 2013, when Pacific Rim premiered, there was hope for another hit franchise. But after the release of the sequel, Pacific Rim Uprising in 2018, the third movie remains unannounced. Before we tell you all the news about the possibilities of the third film, let's start with a quick recap of the previous two movies. The first movie was directed by the legendary director Guillermo del Toro, and that was maybe the key to the success. Also, del Toro has written the screenplay for the first movie, alongside Travis Beacom. The movie is set in the future, when the Earth is at war with the colossal sea monsters, Kaiju, which has emerged from an interdimensional portal on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. To fight against the mighty monsters, humanity will unite to create gigantic humanoids named Jaegers. The giant lizards will take millions of lives. The Jaegers are controlled by two pilots who are linked up to them mentally, but the creature will adapt and the humanoid mechas won't be enough to kill him. And that's why humanity will have to try other tactics. However, Pentecost, the man who is in charge of the Jaeger program, will decide to continue the program. He will recruit Raleigh Beckett, a former Jaeger pilot who left after his co-pilot brother died. He will find an assistant pilot in a girl named Mako, and together they will drive a legendary but seemingly obsolete Jaeger from the past. This duo is the last hope of humanity against the mounting apocalypse. With a budget of 180 to 200 million, the movie grossed over 411 million worldwide. And not just Del Toro and the great story, the movie also included some incredible cast crew members like Idris Elba, Charlie Hunnam, and Ron Perlman. The second movie took us 10 years after the events of the original movie. The story follows Jake Pentecost, who was given one last chance to live up to his father's legacy after kaiju monsters are unleashed back into the world and aim to destroy it. It's 2035, 10 years after the Battle of the Breach, in which the interdimensional portal created by the Precursors was closed. Jake Pentecost, who is the son of the last battle hero, Stacker Pentecost, makes a living by stealing and selling Jaeger parts on the black market. After he tracks part of a disabled Jaeger's power core to the secret workshop of a 15-year-old Jaeger enthusiast named Amara Namani, they will both get arrested by Pan Pacific Defense Corps. To avoid prison, Jake will hit that like button just like you should do right now. No, really. To avoid prison, he will return to the PPDC as an instructor, with Amara being his recruit. But the peace on Earth is about to be shattered, as someone is out to unseal the breach and allow the creatures back in. I think this is enough to make you watch both Pacific Rim movies if you haven't done it before. Unlike the first movie, Pacific Rim Uprising was directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, and it hasn't been received as a Guillermo del Toro movie. The movie grossed only 290 million worldwide, which is a very small number considering the large shooting budget of 150 to 160 million. Deadline Hollywood estimated that the film would have needed to gross 350 million to break even. Critics' reactions were mixed, and the middle rating was 2.5 out of 5. However, I can't say that the movie was a real flop. Let's just say that they could do much better. The cast crew, which included John Boyega, Charlie Day, and Scott Eastwood, had so much more potential for something bigger. Now the franchise has a black spot, and there is a doubt if a third movie will ever be released. Well, we can't speak for a release date, as there isn't any potential one. We can just hope that somewhere and someone is preparing a movie that will complete the Pacific Rim trilogy. As the first movie was released in 2013, and the second 5 years later in 2018, maybe we can just say that things can go positively in 2023. For now, you can just watch the previous two movies. But wait, there's more. In March 2021, an animated series based on the Pacific Rim franchise was released by Netflix. The series has 14 episodes, and the second season was released in April. So if this is your first time hearing about this sci-fi franchise, there is a lot of fun for you in front of the big screen. When it's up to the cast crew for the potential third film, we know for sure who won't come to reprise their roles. DeKnight assured fans that Mako Mori's story would be explored in a third Pacific Rim film. He said that Mako takes a huge part in his concept for the third film. Here, storyline was far from complete, said Tonight. Even though Mako died in the second movie, Mako was portrayed by Rinko Kikuchi, and she was killed after one of Obsidian Fury's missiles hit the trail rotor of the helicopter. It's safe to say that Jin Zhang, who played Marshal Quan, won't come back, as he was killed by Jaeger drone missiles with his staff members. And about the mechas, there won't be Valor Omega and Titan Redeemer, as they were both destroyed by the Jaeger Kaiju hybrids. We can all agree that now it's the right time to smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell below the video. No, really. I assume you all agree that John Boyega was great as Jake Pentecost, and he deserves a role in another Pacific Rim movie. Jake was a great duo with Amara Namani, who was portrayed by Kaylee Spaney. So it will be a shame if any director doesn't call them for the casting. And what about the plot for the potential third film? Well, again, I don't want to give you any spoilers for you, because for now, there isn't any clue how the story could go if a third film is released. Guillermo del Toro was the main culprit why the first movie had so much success. You will agree that in the hands of great filmmakers, even a bizarre story, like enormous robots fighting against giant monsters to save the Earth, can shine. But what is his opinion on the possibility of sitting again in the director's chair for another movie in this franchise? Well, I must disappoint you, as Del Toro already stated that he has no plans at this moment to revisit Pacific Rim. The director shared an interest in seeing a Pacific Rim and Monsterverse crossover on social media, but he clarified that this is not an idea for a third movie. The director of the second movie, Steven Tonight, also spoke about the possible second sequel. His statement came in October of 2017, 5 months before the Pacific Rim Uprising was released. If enough people show up to this, we've already talked about the plot of the third movie and how the end of the third movie would expand the universe to a Star Wars or a Star Trek style, where you can go in many different directions. That's the plan, Tonight said. There is much left untold, and the possibilities are limitless. Both movies left a lot of questions to be answered, more backstories to be given, and new stories to be told in the world of the Pacific Rim. So it makes complete sense for Pacific Rim 3 to get a green light. The second movie ended on a hopeful note as the humans celebrated their victory over the precursors. In the last moment of the movie, Jake tells Newt that humans will have to take the matters into their own hands, and they will have to go where the precursors and kaiju came from to end them for good. With this line, it seems that Jake already told us what the story in the third film could look like. With the second season of the animated series released in April, we can say that Pacific Rim is not a dead franchise, and anything could happen very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.